do this thing. I can be a couple minutes late.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kara, and I am one of the co-owners of Des Moines Mom. And we have with us today Richard Mannion, who is the director of Code Ninjas. Richard, can you tell me where you are located?
Sure, we're in Clive. We're right next to Waukee. We usually say we're behind the Wendy's, but if you go out on Hickman all the way out to Waukee, we're right before you get to Waukee.
Okay, there you go. And I would like to just say that we are super excited to be presenting our summer camp guide with Code Ninjas this summer. They offer year-round programming and they also offer some great summer camps. So we're going to chat a little bit about what Code Ninjas is, and then we're going to give away a free parents' night out too. So if you are like me, you need a little bit of time away from your children. So maybe that's why you're considering summer camp, or why you would also consider dropping your children off at Code Ninjas for an evening.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping right in. Tell me a little bit about Code Ninjas and what your business is.
Sure. At Code Ninjas, we teach kids from 5 to 14 how to write code by building games. That's our normal thing that we do. So kids come in, they don't have any idea that they're learning stuff, but they learn how to code, they build games, they have a great time. And that's what we try and do.
What does your year-round programming look like?
We have a year-round program that we call Create, Code Ninjas Create, and it's the reason we're called Code Ninjas in part. So kids come in as a white belt and they start working in. Even before that, they work in Scratch, and then we teach them JavaScript, and then it gets progressively more difficult so that kids continue to keep learning, and they learn JavaScript, and then they start working in Roblox, which is actually their coding language is called Lua, and then all the way up to some of our students now are writing C Sharp in Unity, which is an entirely professional game building platform. So starting from the beginning all the way up.
That's amazing. I could what age groups do you have going on?
Our Create program is for 7 to 14, and we have a junior program that's for kids that are not yet capable of reading large amounts of text. There's some reading to do, like little paragraphs, not like they have to read a whole book. But yeah, and our Create program also, one of the great things about it is you just drop your kids off for an hour twice a week, whenever it's convenient for you. We don't do classes here. It's not one of those things you have to schedule and work into your tight schedules. You just drop by whenever it's convenient, and we're here.
That sounds really cool. And I feel like I don't really know what you're talking about. So I probably should attend a couple classes too.
We have a lot of adults that say they want to come to Code Ninjas too, but alas, over 14.
Okay, tell me a little bit about um, your camps and when they start and what age groups
Yeah,
for.
we start camps at the beginning of June, a week after school gets out for most people, which is and then we run a camp every week, almost every week, all the way through summer. We run a different camp every week. Most of our camps are appropriate for most of the kids that come to our camps are in the 7 to 12-year-old range. So we say that those camps are still open to 13 and 14-year-olds, but those kids maybe other kids seem a little little to them, and 14-year-olds tend to want to stay at home by themselves anyway. And then we have one week that we do in June where we do a junior camp, and this year we're doing junior makers and create your own arcade junior. And we do those morning and evening, or they can come all day for those. That one week is for like littler kids, like 5 to 8-year-olds, who aren't yet ready to necessarily handle some of our more difficult stuff that's in the other camps.
Yeah.
But we do all kinds of camps. We have a camp that's my favorite camp is stop motion animation camp, because I love both the art and the technology, which is what STEM is all about, is bringing together art and technology. Some of our most popular camps are our Minecraft Create camp, where kids learn to manipulate the code in Minecraft so that they can create new objects in Minecraft, and our Create Your Own Arcade from Scratch, which Scratch is a program from MIT, and they actually spend the week building games, which is what we normally do here. So
Wow, that sounds really impressive. Follow-up question. Do the camps that you have in the summer, are they like a standalone type of thing, or are they a progression as far as like they get, the skills build upon each other, and so you can't just drop or do a camp at the end of July if you didn't come in?
Right. That's a great question. This year, particularly, we have endeavored to make all of our camps that you can drop into with no previous experience in any of our camps. So they don't build on each other the way our normal programs do. The exception to that is that our first camp of the summer, which is create your own arcade from scratch, that camp is tailored towards kids that do not have coding experience. So what we would say in ours is that kids that are yellow belt or higher, that camp is too early for them. So if your kid doesn't have any experience, that's a great camp for them to get, or only they have like the hour of code that they do in the schools. That's a great camp for them. And on the other end of that, we do a camp called a Roblox camp, which is called Hackers Wanted. And that camp is for kids that have that already have some coding experience. So that's our most difficult camp. And if your kid has never seen, written a line of code in their life, that camp might be a little more difficult for them.
Okay.
Of course, if they did all the camps in the summer up to that one, I'm sure they'd be fine.
Okay. That sounds good. As far as, what time, like, are your all day camps, or are they half day camps? How does that work?
So right now we're selling all day camps. The camp runs from 8:30 to 4:30. So drop off starts at 7:30, and we ask for parents to have the kids picked up by 5.
Okay.
Towards the end of the summer, towards the end of the spring, when we get close to summer, if there are lots of camp spaces open, we'll open up half day camps. Sometimes there's one or two camps that we end up opening half day. I think, last year was an exception, but the year before we sold all of our seats to all day campers. So that's why we try and let those people have, first grab at the camp for the all days, and then we'll open up the seats later on. We do that in the middle of May. So if you're looking for a half day camp, check back in May.
Okay. That is good information to know. Um, what like supplies will I have to bring for my child?
Yeah, another one of our really common questions. We ask parents to send all of the food that their child is going to consume in the day. So we don't provide food. We ask parents to do that. Other than that, we take care of everything. And it's worth noting that we're part of a large organization. So on our website, there will be things that say, you may be required to purchase blah. We don't require anything. You bring your child and you bring their food, and hopefully they bring a positive attitude, and that's all we ask.
Okay. So it's not like $1,000 commitment to have my child attend 1 week of coding camp with Code Ninja.
Yeah. We're not doing. We have one camp this year that requires like a computer, and we'll just buy the computer and send them home for it. We just build that into the price. So yeah, our goal at Code Ninjas in general is to be hassle free for parents. That's why we do drop off. We don't have to schedule things. Yeah, and we don't. And our regular drop in program, you don't have to buy anything after you join for that. So the price that you pay. We want you to know what that price is, and that's the only thing you're going to have to pay for.
That sounds perfect. Okay. Richard, you talked about we're still living in kind of a weird time. So we still have COVID-19 things that we are having to deal with. What sorts of precautions and things are you doing at Code Ninjas for these summer camps?
Yeah, worth noting that while I'm sitting in Code Ninjas right now, we're not open, so I'm not wearing a mask. But we are still wearing masks at Code Ninjas. We expect both. We require all of our employees, and we expect all of our kids to wear masks when they're in the center too. There's an open question about what we'll be doing in June, right? It's still a few months off. It could be that we live in a different time by then. Our general answer is we're going to do what the CDC recommends that we do. That's what we did at the beginning. That's what we've been doing through. So if the CDC is still recommending specifically that kids wear masks, then we'll still be asking kids to wear masks. And if the CDC releases that requirement, we'll release that requirement when we do. It is also worth noting for social distancing, you can't really have 7-year-olds social distance. They don't do it. And what you have to do to the kids to get them to social distance properly is it is not in line with our sort of fun mentality. So our kids don't social distance real well in the center. I expect that to be even less true during camps. It wasn't that true last year during camp. So we're not great at social distancing. One of the reasons why we make sure we stay good with masks. But
Okay.
hopefully by June, hopefully we can all hope that by June we'll all be out of masks and not worrying about it so much.
That that sounds great. Let's
The
hope.
one other thing I will say is I'm really surprised by my peers that were in childcare talking about how they clean their centers because of COVID, and we don't normally talk about that. And the reason that we don't talk about that is because the kind of cleaning that you need to be doing for COVID is the kind of cleaning that any childcare center should be doing year round, all the time, before COVID, after COVID. Kids are walking germ factories, and you need to mitigate that all of the time. So we continue to keep what we think is a very clean, reasonably sanitary center, and we'll keep doing that. Hopefully forever, not
Yeah.
just because of COVID.
No, no, that sounds good. Okay, so we are kind of wrapping up here. I did say that we are giving away a free parents' night out. So tell me a little bit about what that like means and what is that offering?
Yeah. So on Fridays from 6 to 10, we do what's called Parents Night Out, and kind of like it sounds, you bring your kids in at 6 ish, and you pick them up before 10. In between, then they play games. It's not education. We don't teach during this time. It's science adjacent, right? They play with STEM toys. They play a lot of computer games like Among Us and Minecraft. So it's all about having a good time,
Mhm.
while the parents have 4 hours of quiet time.
Yeah, and what age group is that for?
Yeah, most of our kids that come to that are in we have a couple 6 year olds that come every now and then, but usually they're 7 to 12, right? They're in the age group that they still need a babysitter. So they skew a little bit younger than our old other programs do. But yeah, it's a fun time, I would say, for anyone 7 to 12 or sort of an older 6 year old, right?
Yeah. No, what's the cost of that if I'm going to drop my child off in 4 hours?
Normally it is $35, when you book early.
Okay.
So and you can book that on our website, and you can always book the next Friday, the next one that is available, whether it's
Okay.
next Friday or 2 weeks from now, whatever.
Okay. And how do we find you? How do we connect with you online?
The best way to connect with us is to drop us a note on Facebook. That gets the fastest response. It blows up on my phone, so we were able to get back to people that way. But also, you can email us. It's cliveia@codeninjas.com, or find us online at codeninjas.com.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. I think that you have a very unique programming that appeals to lots of kids who might not be your run of the mill kids that are wanting to spend 14 hours a day outside. And this gives them a great way to stretch their brains. So I love that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what we're here for.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Richard. And I look forward to seeing Code Ninjas more this summer.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.